This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Sony Reader Daily Edition PRS-950, not to be confused with the older PRS-900 that we reviewed a year ago. A whole lot has happened in a year, and this is a much better device. While the PRS-900 had glare that was induced by the resistive touchscreen layer, this one uses infrared beams on the side of the display instead to sense where your finger is or your stylus. So there's absolutely no degradation whatsoever of the Pearl e-ink display. All the new Sony readers, the PRS Pocket and Daily and Touch Edition, the 650, 350, and 950, use the new Pearl e-ink display just like the Amazon Kindle. And they certainly look every bit as good, yet they have touch screens. In fact, we'll compare that to the Kindle. And here we have the Kindle DX, the 9.7 inch, this is Amazon's large reader, and this is the Sony 7-inch model, which is Sony's largest model. Obviously this guy's a lot more portable. The 7-inch display adds most of its size by increasing the height. Here we have the little 350 to show you next to it. Very similar design, both have largely metal casings on them. So you're not adding a whole lot of bulk this way, which makes it easy to hold still with one hand. And it's also good for the side-by-side page view that we first saw in the PRS-900. Down here you have buttons for page turn, again just like the 350 and the 650 that we reviewed. Your home button, which always takes you back to this screen. You can switch to applications and look at settings. Applications here include a web browser, and this is a surprisingly fast web browser. This works only over Wi-Fi. The Daily Edition has both Wi-Fi and 3G, courtesy of AT&T. There is no charge to use the 3G connection, but you can only use it to download books and surf on Sony's own store. So here we go. First view is built-in bookmarks. And if you have multiple bookmarks, you can use the page turn to see. Or we can enter URL or go to our history. And that's our own website, loading very quickly. Again, since this is a touch screen, you can just touch on the web page like you would with a smartphone to go there. That's really impressively fast. It is e-ink, it's black and white. I mean, you're not going to want to use this to replace your computer. And you do see the screen refresh as you scroll around. But it's certainly really handy if you want to look up something in Wikipedia or Google, or just do your email real quick in web-based email. Pretty nice. Again, available only over Wi-Fi. The wireless, you can see right now, here's a symbol to let you know wireless is on. It will automatically sleep in 10 minutes. Even the 3G radio sleeps. But it is running at very low power in the background, so if new periodicals get pushed to it, it will know. You don't have to wake it up and wait for it to actually pull those things down. You can also put this in flight mode and turn off Wi-Fi or 3G independently. So again, the features that you see on this screen here are just the same as the last two models that we reviewed, so we're not going to go over this endlessly. You see that you have a couple of features here that are handy. Whatever you've been reading most recently shows up top here, and a listing of some of your books. If you tap See All, you will see all the books that are installed. Besides a good amount of internal storage, this also has both a memory stick duo and an SD card slot up here. And that's the power button. Down here you've got the headphone jack, the volume controls, your micro USB port, and a wireless hardware switch for on and off if you don't want to go through the menus to do that. And here's your stylus right here. Again, you don't have to use the stylus. Obviously, you can use your finger with this as well, but if you want to take notes and do highlights in a book, which we'll show you in a minute, the stylus is very handy. So if you subscribe to periodicals, which you can do just like with Amazon, get newspapers and magazines, they'll show up here. Let's see what that looks like real quick. This is something that you can't do wirelessly with the PRS 650 and 350. Only the Daily Edition has wireless, so you'd have to sync your periodicals via USB. You can see a selection of what we've got here. And there we've got our view of the New York Times. So once in a periodical, if you want to read a particular article, you just tap on it. If that's too small for you, you see the little magnifying glass icon, and you can zoom here. You've got all these text sizes to choose from. And you can do a graphical style zoom as well, where you're not resizing the font, you're just zooming in the entire page, which is handy for images, particularly for PDFs. So I'll switch to a larger font. You can see that it's pretty quick and certainly a lot more readable. When you're done, you just hit the X box. So that's a quick look at periodicals. This also comes with dictionaries, including translation dictionaries. There are about 10 at all. For English, we have the Oxford English Dictionary, which I recommend, and then the Oxford New American English Dictionary, not quite as good. Let's take a book real quick. This is EPUB format books from Sony's bookstore. They use ePUB. You can also get books from Kobo Books and other places that sell ePUB books. Barnes & Noble's books will not work because they use a different version of ePUB DRM than anybody else. And of course, Amazon books only work with Kindles. Prices between bookstores are becoming pretty similar given competition and market pricing on books. So here we are paging through. And you can see that the page turns are quite quick. If you want to tap on a chapter heading, you can jump right there. If you want to make notes in the book, you can do that. If you want to search for a page or go to a specific phrase in the book, you can do that here. Add bookmark, you can do it using the menu, or you can just double tap in the corner, as with all Sony Touch readers. You can also switch this to landscape mode, at which point the font looks considerably larger, so we will go down. And you can see you have all these options for layout, including two-page view, which is the most useful in landscape mode. So if you have good eyes, then that's pretty readable. Let's see what happens if we bring that up to one size more. And that's very readable. So if you like the side-by-side feeling as if you were reading a print book, you have that as an option. And we can switch back to portrait mode just like that. Now if you want to take notes, just choose to create a note. And then you've got tools up here for your highlighter, your marker, and your eraser. And these are saved and synced to the Sony desktop software. So if I want to highlight that, make a note. A little bit hard to write while I'm holding this with the camera, but and then there's the highlighter marker. And again, these are saved for syncing to the desktop. And when you look through the book, you can see them again thereafter every time you visit the book. Now we'll take a look at PDF. Sony's own user guide is in PDF format. But just in case they made something particularly easy for the Sony reader, we're going to go with an HP TM2 Touch Smart user guide instead. Again, in the PDF, the page turn speeds are good. And hyperlinking is supported. Now that's just about readable if you have really good eyes. So if you want to zoom in and not mess with the flow of the layout by changing the actual font size, we can choose zoom and then use the zoom bar to make it as big as necessary, and you can see it preserves the layout. And that would probably look a little bit better in landscape mode. So there you have it. And that's actually landscape mode without zoom at that point, and it is very readable. Contrast is excellent on this, thanks to the Pearl e-ink display. And obviously the touchscreen just makes it a pleasure to use. Instead of arrowing around endlessly using a D-pad or some kind of joystick controller, you just do anything you want very quickly with this. The one drawback to the Sony Reader Daily Edition PRS-950 is the price. It is $299, making it one of the most expensive, fairly mainstream size readers. They do have a 6-inch for $229, which competes more directly with the Kindle and the Nook in terms of screen size, but those do not have wireless. So if you want something that has the wireless delivery of the Nook and the Kindle, well, you're really going to have to get this guy for $300. Is it worth it? That's really up to you. I think the touchscreen is very elegant. It's one of the sharpest screens on the market, and the wireless delivery works well, but it is a lot more money. Take a look at the back of the device and one more look around it. Again, it is made mostly of metal. So that's the Sony Reader Daily Edition PRS-950, Sony's second generation daily reader, and really third generation touchscreen reader, the one where they actually got it right. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website to read the full review.